Going north IV. Lyanna Stark Pav. I'm not talking to you. I tell that person as he tries to converse with me. I am still mad at him for lying to me. He made me mad at Ned. This is unforgivable. Why not? You lied and made me angry at Ned. I will never forgive you. I say and turn my back to him. Well, that's too bad. I guess I'll just have to throw this Goldenheart bow into the flames then. How sad, but if you won't talk to me, this present is useless. I hear him say. What did you say, Goldenheart? I shout and turn around to him. He is holding a wooden box that is the size of a bow. But this could be another trick. I said Goldenheart. But if you don't want to talk to me. Sigh, how sad. Wait. Let me see it. I tell him. No, you said it yourself. You are a warrior, and as a warrior, you never go back on your word. I have to respect your choice. He said with an impressed look on his face. Ass. He's right. I did say that, and as a warrior, I have to stay true to my word. Going back on my word is not honorable, according to father. But he has a Goldenheart bow. Wait. How do I even know that you're not pulling my leg? I don't trust your words after that big lie you told. A lie. My warrior lady, you wound me. I merely made a joke to lighten up the mood. By my honor, as little as it may be in your eyes, this is a true Goldenheart bow. If you don't believe me, you could of course open the box to make sure. But you would have to give me something in return. He says with a small smile. I knew it. You're a fiend and are looking for favors. Also, don't call me a lady. But my she-wolf, warrior not yet lady, your words cut deep. However, I understand when my presence is unwanted. I shall take my leave. He says and bows before turning around and leaving. Wait, where is he going? I haven't seen the bow yet. What to do? If I stop him now, I clearly want to talk to him. But that's not true, I only want to see the legendary bow. I heard that Goldenheart wood was fabled to make the best bows, except for Dragonbone. I really want to see it. And he said it was a present for me. Oh no, he's really leaving. Wait. Yes. What would that favor be? Oh, nothing big, I assure you, little wolf. All right. Show me. I say. Very well. Here, you shall have the honor of opening it. It is yours after all. He says and lays the wooden box down in front of me. It looks like a normal box. There are no special engravings or a sign which would hint at the valuable contents. I approach the box and open it slowly. I am surprised. The box is heavier than it appears on the outside. How was he able to lift it without visible strain? He must be stronger than he looks. But it is hard to judge his body's build when he's wearing those loose clothes. Whoa! I exclaim when I see the bow inside. The dragon lords of the Valyrian freehold often traded for Goldenheart from the Summer Isles. The princes of the islands have forbidden the export of the wood since the Slavers' wars. But I managed to acquire one by chance. He says, but I don't listen to him. It is a wonderfully crafted bow. Well. Do you like it? He asks me. I like it. Thank you. I say unwillingly and silently, but his smile tells me he heard it regardless. Not wanting to give him a win, I stand back up and cross my arms in front of me. What is that favor you want? You will have to allow me to teach you how to use it. He says. What? My mind is blank, you want to teach me how to use a bow? That's exactly right. Not that I don't trust your father or the master at arms, but I know that I can do it better. So I'll teach it to you. He says. I don't know. Were you expecting something else? Something naughty perhaps? He asks me. Stop that. All right, I agree, let's go. I say and move towards the yard. The yard was quiet, save for the occasional clatter of wooden practice swords and the grunts of young squires honing their skills. I like to come here, but father usually forbids it from happening. So I use this chance as well as I can. If father finds out, I can say it was Robert who had the idea and not me. It was his present, so I couldn't, possibly, decline, right? Robert Baratheon, broad-shouldered and already towering at 14 name days, stands next to me. His dark hair, wild and unruly, similar to Brandon, but even more so. He seems like a true Stormlander, old Nan tells us about. Those stories are for the girls to feel like they know something, in my opinion. Boring, if I can't experience it myself. He holds a bow in his hands, showing me how to hold the bow correctly. You're holding it too tight, little wolf. Robert says, relax your grip. The bow is an extension of you, not a tool you're wrestling with. I nod. My brow furrows in concentration as I try to adjust my hold. Robert steps behind me, placing his big hands over mine to guide them into the proper position. Like this. He says softly. See. Let your fingers rest lightly on the string. When you pull back, use your back muscles, not just your arms. It is a common mistake beginners make. Not that you are a beginner, but this bow is special and you will have to change a few things about your posture and how you handle the bow. I follow his instructions, feeling the tautness of the bowstring against my fingers. Why can't I pull it back fully? It is so hard. I say. That's because it's a strong string, fitting for the goldenheart wood the bow is made of. You will have to grow into the bow. Let me help you with it. He says, and from the same position, helps me pull back the string. But he doesn't do anything else, I am the one aiming. I take a deep breath, drawing the string back with Robert's help until it is level with my cheek. My eyes narrow as I focus on the distant target. I am a good shot with the bow and arrow, so this shouldn't be any different. Good. Now, take your time. Aim carefully. And when you're ready, let it fly. Robert encourages me. I exhale slowly and release the string explosively. If Robert hadn't taken my hand away at the right time, I would have lost it most likely. The arrow shoots away through the air with a soft hiss, hitting the target just shy of the center. But that's not all. The arrow cuts through the target and embeds itself into the wall behind it. A wide grin spread across Robert's face, while I can only look at the result with my mouth wide open. Not bad for a first try, little wolf. He says. That was amazing. How did the arrow shoot through the target? Was that your doing? Is it that strong? The words spill out of my mouth and Robert only laughs. Haha, the bow is truly strong, yes. That was not my doing, but yours. I almost hit the center. I say, my earlier annoyance with Robert melting away. I love this feeling. Bahahaha, I like your enthusiasm. You'll be hitting it in no time. Just remember to practice and train your muscles. As long as you're stubborn enough, there is nothing you can't achieve. Well, almost. But aren't women weaker than men? How will I ever compare to them? I ask, showing some of the doubts that have been plaguing my mind. I see the strength Ned attained while in the Vale and can't help but think that I should have also gotten this strong. Ah, I see. While it is true that men and women don't have the same anatomy, it is not true that women can't be good and deadly warriors. All it takes is training after all. I'll show you what muscle groups you should train, in order to use the bow efficiently. You'll outclass your brothers in no time. Equipment plays a big part in battle power. He says. Thank you, Robert. For teaching me. Anytime, little wolf. Anytime. Now, let's see if you can do it again. The more you shoot, the better you'll get. Yes. I say and get back into the position he showed me. I will become the best archer there is. I spent hours training how to use my bow under Robert's supervision. He knows a lot about bows and weapons in general. When I asked him where he learned all that, he said that he likes to learn and has a good memory. The duties of a future lord are not just martial in nature. Your brain should be your strongest muscle, and in that regard, women actually have an advantage over men. So train it well, to keep the advantage. That's what he said to me after we stopped training. He is different from what I initially thought of him. There is a serious side to him as well, which I didn't see at first. Because he didn't show it. I don't think he shows it a lot. Despite talking to him for a while, I still think I know very little about him. I can't say what it is, but there is a mysterious veil around him, that hides his true self. I don't mean he is lying or acting in any way. But I think he is hiding something darker. I don't know how to explain it. It reminds me of the wolf I saw when I went to the Wolfswood without father's consent. I almost died that day, had Brandon not saved me. I walked towards the dining hall to eat my dinner with the family. As I approach, I hear father's voice. He doesn't sound happy. I stop walking and eavesdrop. You gifted Lyanna a bow. Father says. I did. Robert answers. I appreciate the thoughtful and expensive gift, but I don't appreciate you teaching my daughter how to use the bow and arrow. And why is that? Robert asks. Oh no. The talk. And here I was so happy about today. Lyanna is to be wed in a few years. She should not be trained to go off and fight battles. Teaching her that will only further encourage her to do just that. If she is to wed and bear children at some point, she needs to learn how to be a lady. Father says. So that's it. Another person who was given the talk of my father about how I shouldn't have anything I like and only concentrate on being a broodma. What a ridiculous and foolish thought process, Lord Stark. I hear Robert say. What? When the time comes that you can't protect her and evil men approach her to do unspeakable things to her, what is she to do then? Should she roll over and submit? Should she argue that she is a lady and ladies aren't supposed to experience such things? Or is she to fight and defend herself? Robert says calmly. Me. The notion that a woman should be a lady is so stupid in my opinion, that I can't even express it with words. Who decided that women are to be birthing ovens and should stay at home to do nothing? There are servants to take care of the household anyway, no need for the lady to do it, right? I for one would prefer a woman who can fight and defend herself. A strong woman who supports me and understands the world as I do. The hard and harsh choices. That's what life is all about, not to appease some lord and raise your child to be a broodmare. This is a pov of a 10-name-day-old girl. So take everything she says and thinks with a grain of salt. I shouldn't have to say this, but some people forget that it is not a third person's pov but instead Lyanna's thinking. 34 comments 0 vote. Tourney at Lannisport I. 276 AC. Cersei Lannister pov. A tourney is being held in Lannisport, by Father, the Hand of the King. I sit by the window, staring out at the bustling activity below as the tourney in honor of Prince Viserys's birth unfolds. My thoughts are a tangled mess of emotions, each thought pulling me back and forth like the tide in different directions. I am only 10 named days young, yet the weight of Father's ambitions and the complexities of duty and my own feelings weigh heavily on me right now. Did you hear what your Aunt Jenna just told you, love? The gentle tone of Mother's voice pulls me out of my thoughts. I did, Mother. Aunt Jenna had just delivered the news that should have made my heart soar. I am to wed Crown Prince Rhaegar Targaryen. It was a match Father had promised me ever since I was 7. So are you looking so bummed because you understand what it means, or because you don't? Mother asks me. I don't know. You don't know why you're sad. Yes. Then what do you know? Mother asks me. She has taken the seat next to me and has my hand inside hers. As if she was encouraging me to tell her and share my burden. I had always imagined this moment, envisioned myself as the future queen, standing beside the beautiful and gallant prince, who would then be king. I thought it was all I ever wanted. All any maiden could ever want. But now that the moment is near, a different image keeps intruding my thoughts. I start to explain but can't find the right words. A dark-haired boy with a broad smile, strong build and laughter that echoes through the air, perhaps. My head snaps in her direction and I see her amused but gentle smile. Oh, my dear Cersei. What brought this up? What made you like this? It's been 3 years since you met. We write. What? We correspond using ravens. No, I mean, what are you writing? Mother asks me and I turn red slightly. I see. It is a great honor to wed the crown prince and you will make a wonderful queen. But it's natural to feel conflicted. You're still so young, and such decisions carry great weight. I agree with you that Robert Baratheon is an amazing man, but what could be better than a king? She's right, and part of me can't help but get infatuated when I saw him ride into Lannisport. And yet, sigh. I know. I thought I would be thrilled to marry Rhaegar. But now. Joanna prompts gently. A knowing look in her eyes. She wants me to say it. Now, I can't stop thinking about Robert. I admit, my cheeks flushing again. I don't know what it is, but when he saved you, and his letters, they're so full of, I don't know, life and excitement. I don't understand why I feel this way. Mother's eyes soften with understanding. Robert is a spirited young man, full of strength and charm. It's only natural to be drawn to him. His letters bring a piece of his world to you, a world of freedom and adventure that you perhaps feel you lack here. But don't lose yourself in a fantasy, Cersei. Not lose myself. Yes. Try to stay in the present, however, it's also important to understand your own heart. Marriages like ours are often made for duty, not love. That doesn't mean you cannot find happiness. You must learn to balance your duty with your feelings. Like I did. She is telling me something with her words, but I don't understand what she means. Balance my duty with my feelings. I can't have both, can I? Right. In any case, it is time for you to prepare yourself. The tourney will begin shortly. So make sure to dress properly. Mother says and then leaves my room. I adorn the beautiful dress Mother gifted me. It has our house colors of red and gold, making me stick out and catching the attention of many. I leave my room, where my two maids, Malara Heatherspoon and Jane Farman, are waiting for me. Mother has been keeping a close eye on me and Jamie ever since the maid ratted us out. Thankfully, Mother hasn't told Father thankfully, but she is using it as a way to keep us apart. You look gorgeous, Lady Cersei. Every night will have his eyes on you. Malara says. It is a very lovely dress. Lady Joanna must love you a lot to gift it to you. I wish I could also have one like it. Jane says dreamily. I don't really enjoy their behavior. Their dreams are to be wed by some knight in the future and bear him children. Why would I be content with a knight? I am to be betrothed to the crown prince at the end of the week. Let's go. Mother is surely already waiting for us. I say and we move out of the castle. 2 knights from Father wait for us at the gate. Lady Cersei. Your father, Lord Tywin has commanded us to accompany you to the tourney grounds. Lead the way. I say and we are off. As we walk, Malara and Jane are exchanging gossip and giggling at the sight of the different knights we encounter. I on the other hand am deep in thought and try to find a solution to my conundrum. Should I accept my situation and simply become the queen I was always meant to be? Or should I try to? No, Father would never allow it. But what did Mother mean? As we walk through the tourney grounds, a small tent at the edge catches my attention. I stop walking and ask the guards about it. Do you know what that tent is? Who does it belong? I ask. I would ask you never to go there, my lady. Why? Who does it belong to? I ask again. It belongs to the woodwitch called Maggie the Frog, my lady. Maggie the Frog. What does that mean, woodwitch? What do you know of her? From what I heard, Maggie came to Lannisport as a younger woman, brought by her husband who had been trading saffron and pepper in Essos. Lord Tytos Lannister ennobled their merchant son, the founder of House Spicer, as a petty lord. Many people of Lannisport visit her for her cures, fortune-telling and love potions. It's all a lie if you ask me. A clever way to swindle everyone of their money. Fortune-telling. I say to myself. Interesting. Does it work? I ask interested to know whether the plan forming in my head could work. I have never been there myself, my lady. But as far as I heard, the love potion seems to have some effect. Although I am not sure how accurate those rumors are. He says. We arrive at the viewing stands which were raised beneath the walls of Lannisport for the tourney. Judging by the murmuring and cheering, the small folk are excited. Father hasn't arrived yet, as the procession is yet to commence. Mother is sitting to my right and Jamie is to her right. She gives me a look and smiles afterwards. Tyrion has also been allowed to attend the tourney and is sitting on Mother's lap. I couldn't help but despise Tyrion at first. He almost killed Mother after all. But Mother told me off and gradually, I learned to accept him. I am still not happy with his existence for some reason, but Mother says that things aren't always as they seem. I'm not sure what she means by that. WOOOOOOAAAAAAAAHHHHHH. The crowd suddenly cheers loudly. The procession has started. At the head of it all, is the king. King Aerys II Targaryen with father riding in second. And right after, comes the crown prince. Is there anyone more beautiful than the 7 and 10 named day-old Rhaegar Targaryen? He has been knighted recently. Rhaegar has deep purple-colored eyes, and long, elegant fingers. He is taller than his father, the King Aerys is in his adulthood. Rhaegar's hair is silver blonde, moving in the wind as he rides on his steed with elegance and grace. I am not the only one who is enthusiastic about the crown prince. The small folk cheer father twice as loudly as they cheer the king, but only half as loudly as they cheer Prince Rhaegar, and their cheers echo off Castle Rock like thunder. After a while, the procession is finished and the tourney finally starts. It is a grand occasion for everyone. The main attraction, though, is the crown prince. As the tourney progresses, Rhaegar defeated 2 of my uncles and a dozen of father's finest knights in the joust before finally falling to Sir Arthur Dayne of the Kingsguard. Sir Arthur Dayne, the sword of the morning and the best swordsman in the realm. The most powerful and skilled men are part of the Kingsguard. It is the dream of many to become part of their group, but none of them are allowed to ever sire children. Where are you going? Mother asks me when I try to sneak away. Nowhere in particular. I lie. Don't lie to me, Cersei. I always know when you lie. So you will either tell me where you're going, or you will stay here and attend the feast with your mother and brothers. Sigh, I sit back down. Over the next couple of days, I tried to sneak away a few times but someone always finds me and stops me from going. Finally, the last day of the tourney has arrived. The day that my betrothal to Crown Prince Rhaegar is to be announced. But I need to see the Woodwitch before that. Finally, I managed to get a moment to myself and call both of my two friends, Jane Farman and Melara Heatherspoon. They might be my maids, but they are still my only friends. Where are we going? We're going to the Woodwitch, Maggie the Frog. I tell them. What? My lady. I don't think that. Nonsense. We are going to get our fortunes told and that is final. What will she do? I am a Lannister and she will know that. I tell them. There is nothing she will do to us since she would die the next day if something happened to me. We walk to the tent and enter. There an old woman is sitting behind a wooden desk. She looks squat and warty, with crusty yellow eyes, no teeth, and pale green jowls. Her back is bent and her eyes are yellow. Ah! Jane screams and runs away after Maggie opens her eyes. She seems to have been frightened by the sight of her yellow eyes. What ye want? She speaks in a croaking, accented voice that makes shivers run down my back. But I am here now and will get what I came for. It takes more to scare a lioness like me. We want to have our fortunes read. I say with a clear voice. No. Leave here. She says, confusing me for a moment. What? Do you know who I am? I am Cersei Lannister, daughter of Tywin Lannister. I say one word and you will be killed on the morrow. So tell me, what do you decide? I threaten her. I am a lioness. She will do as I command. Very well. Gimme your thumbs. I will draw some blood. Is that necessary to read our futures? I ask. Aye, necessary it is. Maggie says. Very well. I say and look at Melara, who seems to be unsure. I nod my head and present Maggie with my thumb. Using a twisted iron dagger, Maggie draws blood from our thumbs. I flinched but did not pull away. Then she does something disgusting, takes my thumb into her mouth, and drinks blood from both my and Melara's thumbs. Ask her questions. Maggie says. When will I wed the prince? I ask her. She should know this at least, if she is worth anything. Never. You will wed the king. She answers me. King. Will I be happy in my marriage? I ask her. Start it will with joy and laughter, the pain, tears and screams come after, continuing this cycle until, eventually adapt you will. Tenderness and care as well as pleasure, violence and death in equal measure. What? I'll be exposed to violence. No way, Prince Rhaegar Targaryen is known to be a gentle heart and as gallant as anyone in the Seven Kingdoms. Melara takes my silence to ask a question of her own. Will I marry Jaime? She asks hopefully. Not Jaime, nor any other man, worms will have your maidenhead. Your death is here tonight, little one. Can you smell her breath? She is very close. Maggie answers, scaring Melara. Can you tell me about my husband? I ask after a moment. Maggie thinks about it for a moment. Longer than she did before. There is an uncomfortableness to her as her expression shifts. I see. No. No. KKUUKK. I move back as Maggie starts puking blood and chokes. The scene terrifies me and I get out of the tent as fast as I can. Both Melara and I are running away through the crowd until I hit some kind of wall. Thud. OWWW, I rub my head and am about to fall to the ground, when I feel strong hands stop my fall. Well, what do we have here? A pretty lioness in the making. A deep voice says. I look up and see. Robert. What are you doing here? Bahahaha, nice to see you again, Cersei. I just came from the north and on my way back, I thought I'd have a look and check out the crowd here. Robert says casually. Robert. It's really you. I say and finally notice the position I'm in. I blush and hold my hands over my face. Well, obviously. Who else has such a Sigma vibe? What? Vibe. Not that important. Anyway. He says and puts me on my feet finally. What were you running from? Yes. Tell me about it. You look terrified. It's nothing. Not anymore. I say, calming down gradually, what did you do all this time? Did you not read my letters? I did. Tell me again. Sure, why not? Yes, I created this myself. Honestly, I'm quite proud of this one. I never know what words to use when I want to rhyme, but this time it worked. No AI was used for this. I am giddy to see what everyone says when Maggie's words will finally make sense. I tried to include the torn feelings of Cersei. I hope it was alright. I already have things planned out and am interested to see what others think when it happens. 54 comments 0 vote. Tourney at Lannisport 2. 276 AC. Joanna Lannister Pav. So what is my savior doing in Lannisport? I ask Robert Baratheon as we wait for the celebratory feast to take place. I was positively surprised to see Cersei together with Robert walking around the tourney grounds. They were acting like a couple in love, at least Cersei did. I think she forgot herself and her station for a moment there. I understand what she sees in him. Which 14 named a young man looks like he is a grown man with a powerful body, good humor and looks. Not to mention his intelligence and economic success. I wouldn't be surprised if House Baratheon was worth as much as House Lannister in a few decades. His character is also impeccable, at least in the part he shows others. But the rumors of his time as a healer are supporting that image. I can no longer judge objectively since he saved mine and Tyrion's life. But I still hope he is honest, at least as far as this world allows a man to be. If it were possible, I would have had Cersei betrothed to Robert in a heartbeat, but sadly, that's not how the world works and also not what Tywin wants. He has long ago decided to have Cersei be queen and for that reason, he will wed her to Rhaegar Targaryen. This, joyous, news will be announced in the celebratory feast any moment now. I am interested to see Robert's reaction when the news is announced. As much as it might seem harsh, I hope to capture a moment where he shows his true face if he is hiding it now. My daughter shall only wed someone she loves if that is possible. And the heir to House Baratheon is as good, if not better than any other man in the realm. I was in Winterfell before and sadly I had to cut my stay there short. So when I heard about the tourney to honor Prince Viserys' birth, I thought to myself. Why not go there? And here I am. Robert tells me. Just like that. Why were you in Winterfell? I ask him. I was traveling with my foster brother Ned Stark to see his family after years in the Eyrie. We had planned to go there together, for me to finally meet his family. Also, I wanted to see the North as I had read so much about it. He says. Truly. And how was it? Were you offended by the harshness of their lifestyle or the cold characters of their people? I ask him, slowly getting invested in his story. On the contrary. I enjoyed every moment of it. The harsh climate, the stern but fiercely loyal people, and the calm strength I experienced surprised me and made me love the North very quickly. Although it might seem like an impossible area to make money in, it's not true. Hard work is nowhere rewarded as much as in the North. Interesting. So you went there a week ago. Then what are you doing here? I ask him, confused how he could travel here so fast. Haha, well. I had to leave Winterfell again. Misunderstanding. Oh, tell me more. I tell him. My curious side has been awakened and now I need to hear the tale. Nothing important, I assure you. What? You can't stop now, you simply must tell us. Yes, you must tell us. Cersei says. She is obviously interested as well. Alright then. So Robert starts telling us the story of how he spent some of his time ever since we last saw him 3 years ago. Since then a lot happened for him, it would seem. He tells us how he met some resistance on his way to the Eyrie and then picked up Eddard Stark. After that, they went north until they reached Winterfell, the castle of House Stark and one of the oldest castles in Westeros. He tells us what he did there and how he broke the ice in the very first few minutes by pulling their legs and having 2 of the Stark children fight each other. After that, he did the unthinkable and gifted the young Lyanna Stark a Goldenheart bow, after which he spent hours teaching her how to use it. When he speaks about Lyanna, I can see Cersei's teeth clenching and have to stop myself from chuckling. It seems my daughter has fallen hard for this one and it isn't even a competition anymore. So you were thrown out of the castle for defending the young lady Lyanna's wish to learn how to fight. I am certain that is the first time something like that has happened. I say with a smile. He is really a unique man. Bahaha, I have to agree with you. But I'm sure it won't be the last time something like it happened. That's for sure. Robert laughs. What's this young lady Lyanna like? You only called her the she-wolf, but not what she looks like. Is she pretty? I'm sure Cersei would also like to know that, right dear? I say, teasing Cersei and amusing myself with her reaction. Cersei looks like she has eaten something sour. Oh well, Lyanna Stark is quite slim, due to her always running away from the lessons in sewing she hates and her love for riding and using the bow and arrow. She has brown hair and gray eyes. The best way I could describe her is wild and a bit boyish, with that wolfish touch. Robert says. I have to commend you for staying so neutral while describing the beauty of a young girl in the presence of two ladies, Robert. You will get far, I'm now certain. I say. Nonsense. I like to speak my mind. Which is bad in the sense that it has already gotten me thrown out of one castle. But I'm sure you wanted to hear the truth and not some lie to appease anyone's ego. Comparing Lyanna to our young lady Cersei is impossible anyway. He says. Oh. Do you hear that, Cersei? I ask looking at my daughter. She seems interested in this. What? What do you mean by that? She asks trying to look uninterested. Poor Cersei, she still has much to learn. Well, naturally you two are far too different to compare. Lyanna was born and raised in the cold north. She loves to ride horses, run around with her brothers and use the bow and arrow. Meanwhile, you were raised in Castle Rock of the Westerlands. You didn't hate the lessons the Septa taught you as much as Lyanna would. You have beautiful blonde hair, unlike the soft brown of Lyanna. You see, it would do both of you an injustice if I were to say any more to this topic. Robert says, ending this discussion gracefully. It seems Cersei was appeased by this explanation. I can see that she is still too young and also small to be interesting to Robert. But I'm sure he realizes that she will be a beauty in the future. Now that I think about it. Where is Tywin? Boom. The door opens with a bang and Jenna walks in with hurried steps. In her youth Jenna was shapely, always threatening to overflow her bodice. However, as she ages, she becomes much fuller. She now has a square figure and an enormous bosom with a broad and smooth face. She is still a beauty though. Impressive considering she had to marry a Frey. Jenna, what are you looking so worried about? I ask as she approaches us. Robert is standing already. Joanna dear, it's terrible. Cersei. I'm afraid there won't be a celebratory feast. Jenna says. What do you mean? I ask. Aerys has rejected Tywin's offer. Jenna says, not bothering about Robert who is still standing in the same position. What do you mean he rejected? He rejected the marriage proposal. I ask. Indeed, that. Why? Cersei asks this time. She seems to be shocked as well. But her emotions are all over the place. Cough, I apologize but if the ladies would excuse me, I don't want to intrude. Robert finally says something and leaves the room. Thank you, Robert. Please forgive the hasty situation. After the door closes, I look at Jenna again and command her to tell us everything. I was there when Tywin approached King Aerys. Brother thought he could be smart about it and use the fact that Rhaegar won so many times to appease the king. But he didn't expect the king's words when he asked him. You are my most able servant, Tywin, but a man does not marry his heir to his servant's daughter. That's bad. I finally say. Sob sob. Cersei starts to cry for some reason. Her emotions really are all over the place. She needs to decide what she feels. But from what I saw, she just managed to get out of a potentially sad marriage. I'm sorry, Cersei. I know how much you wanted to marry the prince and then one day become queen. But I know my brother well enough to know that he won't take this lying down. He won't give up and will continue to try and wed you two so that your dream can one day come true. Jenna says, consoling Cersei. Cersei, why don't you go and look for Robert? I'm sure he's somewhere to be found. Ask him about his experience with fine silk. He told me something about that, but I forgot what it was. I tell her. She nods and slowly walks out of the room, leaving me alone with Jenna. What was that all about? She asks me. I am trying to help my daughter with her pain. Nothing helps against a bleeding heart except. Oh no you don't. Jenna says and looks at me after she understands my intentions. Indeed I am. Unlike Tywin, I see a diamond when I see one. The position doesn't mean anything when Robert Baratheon is concerned. He might as well be a prince for that matter. I say. What? Robert Baratheon. The genius, womanizer, rich, philanthropist. He is here. Jenna looks at me with wide eyes. It was the young man who was just here a moment ago. Also, I'm not sure about him being a womanizer. Oh, come now, Joanna. Any young man with that much success will take what he wants. And what do men want overall? Normally, I would agree, but with Robert, I'm unsure. We shall see. Third person POV. Cersei moved to look for Robert. She didn't see him anywhere in the castle, so she asked servants about him. They told her that Robert had gone towards the port where the market was currently located. After thinking about it for a while, I decide to follow him. Father told us to never leave the castle without protection, but I don't care right now. Cersei walks through the bustling streets of Lannisport, her golden hair shining in the sunlight like a crown. Like the crown she was supposed to wear in the future. At 10 years old, she already carries herself in the taut way, befitting Tywin Lannister's daughter. The market is alive with the sounds of traders trying to sell their wares, the scents of spices, vendors shouting their prices, children darting between the stalls, and the air filled with laughter, the clinking of coins and the smell of freshly caught fish in the warm summer air. Cersei holds a cloth over her nose, as she doesn't like the smell of fish. Just as Cersei is threatened to be overwhelmed, the voice of Robert is heard. Like a saving grace, his loud and clear voice reaches her desperate ears and calms her panicking heart. Standing at a stall, Robert, 14 and already broad-shouldered and handsome, is deep in conversation with a fisherman. He laughs heartily, his booming voice carrying over the noise of the market. Seriously. 5 copper stars for lion's claw crab. You're ripping me off, my friend. Robert says. No, I tell you. This is the best quality you will ever find. Do you have any idea how hard it is to find this? The fisherman says, using big hand gestures. Lion's claw crab is a prized seafood dish featuring large, meaty crabs caught off the coast, seasoned with herbs and spices. If prepared right, it is quite a treat, but it is not worth 5 copper stars. Robert knew this. Interesting. Xander just told me that he is willing to sell it to me for 2. What? 2 copper stars. Is he insane? No, groats. Robert says, hiding a mischievous smile. Whaat. That F asterisk cur. Xander, you shit, get over here. The fisherman suddenly loses it and runs towards another stand, tackling Xander to the ground and starting a fight. Bahahahaha. Robert. Cersei calls after witnessing the scene. Robert turns around, his blue eyes lighting up when he sees her. Cersei. There you are. He says, striding over to her, what are you doing here? What about the feast? It won't take place. She says with her head hanging low. I see. Well, that's unfortunate. Here, have some of this delicious trout I bought and tell me all about it. Robert says. This was again far too stressful to write about the feelings of a young Cersei. No more of this, thank you very much. 48 comments 0 vote. Defiance of Duskendale I. 277 AC. Robert Baratheon POV. What do you think? Is it possible? And if yes, how fast can you get it done? I ask Shisana. Shisana was a former prostitute in Storm's End working for Linda's establishment until I came along and offered them all better jobs. Prostitution and brothels were in decline in Storm's End but were now stabilizing. Some women liked the job and now that whores were in short supply, they could both decide who they slept with and raise the prices considerably. I'm certain that in a few decades, there won't be any prostitution in Storm's End. Stannis and I have begun the project, schools. Now most children are getting a basic education. Both boys and girls were taught, there was no discrimination. We kept it quiet for now, but in a few years, when we had gathered enough power and influence, I was going to make this public and offer education to anyone loyal to me and willing to come from around the Stormlands. Education is power. Propaganda is one of the most powerful tools I will use in this world. Back to Shisana. She used to work for Linda, who has become a friend of mine. As much as that might surprise people, she is a funny and quick-witted woman. I gave Linda all possible help I could to make their lives better, and she allowed anyone who wanted to leave the whore business and start making money in ways I offered. Shisana's lifelong dream was to become a seamstress, and she is truly talented. So much so, that I have made her head seamstress and a member of the Creation Guild's board. I think you are the most remarkable young man in all of Westeros, and if you don't watch out, you will be devoured by some female soon. Shisana says half in jest. I like Shisana. If anything, I admire talent and those willing to go to great lengths to achieve something in this life. Don't scare me like that. But is it possible? I ask her. It's possible, all right. The complexity of this is remarkable, but I'll manage to do it within the fortnight. I'll push anything else to the back for this. What was it you called it? A smart suit. A suit, yes. I wanted to wear something to look smart in. I think it works well. Not something that people are used to in this world, but you are special after all. Shisana says, looking at the plans I gave her. Picture. You're amazing, Shisana. Thank you. Oh, by the way. Bam. The door is pushed open and a young man runs inside looking around until he finds me. He rushes towards me and nods to Shisana, just like I taught them. Show some FC King respect to both men and women who are skilled in their craft. Boss. He says. What is it? Lord Stannis, he told me to come find you. I think it's urgent. He says. Fine. Shisana, I'll see you later. If you need anything, tell me. I say and move out of the establishment. As we walk back to the hideout of the local gang, I talk to the young man I used to teach. He was the oldest one we took in of the orphans back in the day. Now he's on the rise as a skilled and loyal young man. What happened? Thomas just got a notice from one of your spies in King's Landing. The king was captured. Interesting. We walk into the pub Stannis and I had created and walk through the back door, leading to a staircase which brings us to the cellar. There we pull a lever that opens a secret door. We walk through the short tunnel and reach a big room, where a few men are discussing things. The talk stops as we enter and I move to the chair at the head of the table. What's the situation? I ask looking at Stannis who is sitting to my right. As of right now, we don't know everything, but after getting the message, I asked around and Thomas managed to find out some things as well. A moon ago, Dennis Darklyn, Lord of Duskendale stopped paying taxes. A sennight ago, Dennis invited Aerys to come to Duskendale to hear his petition. Aerys traveled to Duskendale with a small escort led by only one Kingsguard knight, Esser Gwaine Gaunt, to bring the defiant Lord Darklyn to heel. Upon arrival, however, the king was imprisoned. Some of the king's escorts were killed defending their king, including Esser Gwaine, who was slain by Dennis's master-at-arms, Esser Simon Hollard. Stannis explains. I see. What else can you tell me? How did it come to this in the first place? Why would Lord Darklyn stop paying taxes? I ask. From what we know, it's got historical reasons, right? Duskendale, it had once been a proper important port on Blackwater Bay, seat of kings and all that. But its wealth started shrinking and trade dwindling cause of that nearby King's Landing growing like mad. Now, Dennis Darklyn, Lord of Duskendale, he weren't happy with this decline, not one bit. He wanted to get a charter for Duskendale, like what Dorne got nearly a century ago, see. But Lord Tywin Lannister, Hand of the King, he weren't having none of it. Firmly rejected the proposal, he did. Infuriated at Tywin's refusal, Dennis thought he'd come up with a new plan, which, as it turned out, would eventually have some proper severe consequences. Thomas tells me. Thomas had turned 16 this year. The irony of everything was not lost on me. The looks, way of speaking, the way he acts, and his family status, all reminded me of the show. Good for me, since it was me and Stannis who took them off the streets and raised them to the position they had right now. I know that Thomas Shelby is not the exact same as the one from the show, but they share many similarities. He's stoic, intelligent, ruthless, calculating, and ambitious. He is willing to go to any lengths for his family. Ironically, when Stannis and I got them from the streets, gave them a home, and food and taught them things, they have since seen us as part of their family. I of course made sure to have them all drink my blood as a pact. I knew Thomas was an ambitious man and no matter how much I enjoyed the show, I would never allow such a risk to linger at my back. I don't think it would have been necessary, but I wanted to be sure. So now the Peaky Blinders exist in this world. Founded by both Thomas Shelby and me, it is destined to achieve great things. Quite a smart move on Lord Darklyn's part. But also terribly foolish. I say after the situation becomes clear to me. What do you mean? Stannis asks. Well, Lord Dennis Darklyn ceased to pay his taxes, to demonstrate his anger. He was smart. He was aware of the strained relationship between King Aerys and Tywin Lannister, so Dennis invited Aerys to come to Duskendale to hear his petition. When Tywin naturally advises him not to go, Aerys, who wishes to distance himself from his hand, decides to deal with the problem personally and gets captured. It was a clever plan to capture the king, but a stupid one as the man he will be dealing with, will be Tywin Lannister. I explain. You're thinking about the Rhines and Tarbecks. Stannis says. It will play out the same. Tywin is more likely to storm the castle of. Where did they take the king? He's in Dun Fort in Duskendale. Arthur informs me. Arthur Shelby, the older brother of Thomas. Also similar to the show. That's just setting himself up for a disaster. But it wasn't possible otherwise. I say. Had he not taken him to Duskendale, the city would have been razed to the ground in retaliation. Now he at least has some form of control. Stannis says. So what do we do? Thomas asks. The only thing we can. Prepare for the worst. And it will happen. As Tywin Lannister can't attack Duskendale, because the king is a hostage, he will besiege it with a sizable host. He will prepare for the worst as well, and when he feels like he has prepared enough to gain the most out of the tragic consequences, he will attack and storm Duskendale. I say. So how are we going to prepare for the worst? Stannis asks me. Are there any blinders in Duskendale? I ask Thomas. I'm not sure. Ron. Thomas asks another man who is sitting in the corner with a big book on his lap. He looks up when his name is called. Yes. Do we have anyone in Duskendale at the moment? Thomas asks. Not right now, no. Ron answers. Then get in touch with the Merchant Guild's representative there. He should know more and have connections. Tell them that they should prepare for the evacuation of many people. Possibly thousands if things turn out how I think. There are only two ways this goes. Either the king dies and then Duskendale is wiped from the map, or on the off chance that the king somehow ends up being freed, he will wipe the city off the map anyway. We will use this to recruit able men and women. I say. Stannis send the ravens to the representatives in the Crownlands. Thomas, you set up two small groups that will position themselves close to Duskendale. One in Sow's Horn and another in Sharp Point. We will have to transport the people by boat possibly. So just in case, we want to be ready. Another letter. Stannis asks me as he enters our solar in the castle. Both of us were granted our separate solar by father since we had to do just as much if not more work than him. I was currently reading a few letters sent from some minor lords of the Stormlands, and then there were two that were different. The Lioness or the Dornish? Or both? Stannis asks and continues working while asking. Both. But it seems that Elia is getting rather annoyed at me ignoring her letters. While Cersei is just a child using words her mother helps her with. I say. Why are you ignoring the Martells? We have time now. You could go and visit or not? Stannis asks. I could indeed go, but I want to combine the trip with some business. We have yet to hear back from the Merchant Guild who went to Sunspear. As soon as they have established themselves somewhat, I'll make a trip down there and see how things go. No need to give the Martells what they want just because they ask for it. So much horse shit coming out of your mouth. Stannis says, surprising me. What? You know as well as I that you are interested in Elia Martell. And I agree with you. The spies you sent her to keep watch and observe her movements and habits. I know you do that with most of the heirs and promising nobles of the realm, but there seems to be a particular interest in Elia Martell. As I said, I agree with you. From the reports, she is truly a gentle soul, which is unfitting for this world. She is also not the Dornish, as any of her family. The lessons on how to seduce men and use them to do her bidding were probably not yet used. Although I doubt that she is a virgin, we have yet to hear about a consort or some sex partner in the reports. Stannis summarizes. You're right. She did interest me. Not in the way a love-struck fool would be interested in a pretty face, but in the way that I can see the potential in her. Most other noble ladies are worthless. She could be implemented into the family. You are looking for a partner and not just an accessory, I understand. Dorne is not one of the places I would have looked for a bride, since they are never virgins and their culture is not really fitting for our tastes, but you were always special. If you were interested in a quick sexual session, you could have done that long ago. But are you sure it has to be a Martell? Why a Dornish? Why not wait for Cersei Lannister? She's bound to be a beauty someday. And she seems to be interested in you as well. Cersei is a child still. She might be more mature than others, but she is still a child. There is no way, I would bet a child. True, I could wait, but why would I if Elia is a good match? Tywin won't accept any offers for his daughter anyway. He has this idea of marrying his daughter to Rhaegar or Viserys and he will not bend. I haven't decided yet, mind you. I am simply evaluating my options and will decide when I go down to Dorne in the next few moons. I tell Stannis my plans. I observed Elia when she was here and kept watch over her movements and actions when she left here last year. She seems to truly be different from her family. She hasn't bedded a single man or woman since she came here. I haven't kept an eye on her before that, but that doesn't matter. She has a heart for the poor and is smart. I guess it is her body's weakness that stops her from pursuing senseless sexual relationships. When I go to Dornay, I will see if she's truly the way the reports say, and if she is, then I don't see why she can't become the next Lady of Storm's End. But nothing is guaranteed in Westeros. Duskendale has to be resolved first before anything can happen. The realm is holding its breath. Elia Martell is not what she was in the books. She is genuinely gentle and loyal. The complete opposite of a baron. You people need to relax on this. No matter what happens. Let me cook. 53 comments 0 vote. Defiance of Duskendale 2. 277 AC. John Hollard Pav. As a knight from House Hollard and the steward of Duskendale, my life was not always easy. I thought if I worked hard and proved myself, I would eventually get enough money to marry and have a small family. I managed to be married to the sister of Lord Dennis Darklyn and even got a son, Robin. I can't say that I'm unhappy with my life, but just as I thought it would go uphill, Lord Darklyn goes ahead and captures the King of Westeros. What does he think that will achieve? My brother Sir Stephen Hollard died 2 years ago. My brother Sir Simon is the master at arms in Dunfort and played a large role in the capture of King Aerys II Targaryen. When Lord Dennis Darklyn defied and captured the king, it was my brother who slew Sir Gwaine Gaunt of the Kingsguard during the taking. Killing a Kingsguard is an impressive feat, but my brother was always a very skilled fighter. Had he not soared to Lord Darklyn, he might have had a chance to attend a tourney and become a Kingsguard himself. What are you doing, husband? My wife asks me as I brood during dinner. I'm thinking. About what? About the situation we find ourselves in. And what situation would that be? She asks me seriously. I look at her and ask myself if she understood anything that happened in the last couple of days. Your brother just captured the King of Westeros. Any moment now, thousands of soldiers will arrive at the doorsteps of Duskendale and siege the city. We will die soon if nothing is done, and there is nothing we can do about it. I say and understand how frustrated I am. Why would that happen? My brother has captured the king. If anyone tries anything, he will kill the king. My brother is a smart man and knows what he's doing. She says. Wife. I want you and Robin to leave Dunfort and Duskendale entirely. Leave and go north. If possible, don't get seen. I can't leave since Simon will look for me. But you could tell your brother some good reason that. No. I won't leave my family at a moment like this. Robin is far too excited about making fun of the king, and I also like to see the arrogant shit put in his place. He is but an old man and a disgusting one at that. He deserves what my brother gives him. We deserve more than what we have. She has no idea what she's talking about. In. Bang. The door opens and a soldier enters the room. He salutes in front of me. Sir Hollard, your brother Sir Hollard is asking for you. Something happened. He says. I nod my head and move out of the house. I follow the young soldier until I reach my brother and Lord Darklyn, who are discussing something heatedly. Brother. I say, and he nods his head. Good, you're here. There is a situation. Lord Tywin has sieged the city. Since he can't storm the castle and free the king, he is forced to do this. We were expecting it, of course, and are ready for a long siege. My brother tells me. And the small folk? I ask. What do we care about the small folk? Lord Darklyn says, when this is all over, they will thank me for doing this for them and gaining a better deal for Duskendale. You're right, Lord Darklyn. What would you like us to do? My brother asks. Secure the walls and make sure we're prepared for a surprise attack. Lord Tywin is famous for his ruthlessness and cruelty. It is not beyond him to do that. As you command. Come, brother, we have work to do. We are all going to die. Tywin Lannister Pav. What of the situation? I ask the small council as all the members have seated themselves. I have already prepared a small number of ships to block anyone from fleeing by boat or getting supplies. They should have crossed the Blackwater Bay already and arrived at Duskendale. I am in the process of amassing an even bigger fleet to stop anyone from attacking King's Landing and possibly attack Duskendale. Lord Lucerys Velaryon, the master of ships, tells me. Lucerys Velaryon, the Lord of the Tides and head of House Velaryon, serves on the small council as the king's master of ships. I don't like him, as while he is a strong supporter of the king, he uses any opportunity to whisper things into his ears to earn favors. His skill in the handling of ships is acceptable, though. I nod in his direction and look at the others. Grand Maester Pycelle has nothing much to say right now, and I am not expecting him to say anything anyway. Lord Simon Staunton, the Lord of Rook's Rest and the head of House Stauntones was the next to speak. I have worked together with Sir Gerald to make sure the city is safe while His Grace is not present in King's Landing. Now there might be other ambitious lords who are working with Lord Dennis Darklyn and his plan. If an attack happens while we are unprepared, it would doom Westeros. The people are somewhat calm right now after we swept through the known thieves. But this could change depending on how long this defiance lasts. Lord Simon Staunton says, and Sir Gerald Hightower nods his head in confirmation. Good. We wouldn't want anyone thinking us weak because of this. Crush any thought of rebellion with an iron fist and make it public. Show everyone that nothing has changed, despite the king getting captured. I tell them and look into their eyes. Sir Gerald, what is the situation in the city? Have there been any improvements in criminal activities, apart from thieves? Now that I am leaving King's Landing, I have no interest in bothering about problems here when I already have to deal with them in Dun Fort. I say, looking at the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. There have been strange movements in certain areas of the city, Lord Hand. We aren't clear on what these movements are right now, but we're working on it. He tells me. But there is more, I can feel it. The guilds. I ask him. We thought so as well, Lord Hand, but it seems not to be the case. We have spies looking into the guilds but nothing has come up as of yet. If it were the guilds it would be strange for them to act before the defiance of Duskendale, since now would be a much better chance of increasing their influence. But they are not doing anything. We suspect another group came to King's Landing and spread their influence. That is concerning. I wish for you to increase the number of soldiers who patrol the streets. Also, keep a close eye on Flea Bottom. They have grown in size and filth the last couple of years. I tell him. As you say, Lord Hand. Very well. I shall leave for Duskendale. Safe travels, Lord Hand. Thomas Shelby Pav. I walk through the streets of Strom's End in thought. The situation in Westeros has taken a strange turn that might sow chaos or opportunities. After founding the Peaky Blinders with my brothers and Robert, I knew what I was getting into, but that's all right. Robert understands the world like no other. He is not a civilian, he is a lord and a bloodied one. He gave me free rein to expand and enter certain businesses, as long as it serves the family. With family, he means the Blinders, since there might come a time that some Baratheon won't fit the description of what we are looking for. But right now, House Baratheon, Robert and Stannis are like our leaders while I lead the gang. Robert has the final say in everything, but I have a lot of say as well. He seldom overrules one of my decisions and supports our wishes. It is hard to believe that he is but 5 and 10 name days old. He looks like a grown man and has the strength of 2 men combined. His martial skill as well as his intellectual might makes him truly formidable and dangerous for his enemies. I walk into our base and see my brothers. So what's this about? I ask them. We got a raven from King's Landing. It looks like Lord Tywin is leaving and the Master of Ships will also leave shortly, giving us a window to further our power base there. Arthur tells me. Yeah, we might as well use this chance, now that the prick king is not there. John agrees. What do you think? Arthur asks me. I think about it for a minute. What did the last letter state then? How goes the project in Flea's Bottom? I ask them. The Blinders are gaining a rather big footing there. We are making good progress and the 3 brothels we acquired have been improved and are being protected. The hygiene is taken care of and we are slowly creating more work for anyone willing to join us. But now that the king and the hand of the king is missing, we might as well further increase our power. What about the other players? The usual. No one is making a fuss right now, since we are staying under rather quiet and secretive, but I don't like it. I would rather we make ourselves known and attack more openly. Arthur says. He is a hothead and doesn't understand the implications if we were to do that. If the king comes back, he will be furious, and if he hears that our family has caused unrest in the city, he will go nuts and burn our asses. Robert told us to play the game smart and not because we are looking for glory or have others get wet when they hear our names. So we will continue the way we are going right now. Of course, that doesn't mean we won't take advantage of the situation. Send a raven to King's Landing. Notify Craig and tell him to get another of the wash houses. Robert told us that he has something planned concerning wash houses, and everything he plans usually has a big impact. This will get us the chance to prepare for when he inevitably makes it more profitable. I tell them. I'll do that. What else? Send news to the 2 groups we have in the vicinity to Duskendale. I want to know anything that goes on in there. Soon Tywin Lannister will siege the city and stop anyone from going in or out, making it hard to find out what is going on. But if we are to save some of the people and add them to our ranks, we have to know what is going on. Also send the two groups, Robert told us about to Sow's Horn and another in Sharp Point. Sow's Horn is perfect to place some of the quick ships just in case we need to evacuate some people and then disappear quickly. If anything, we might as well see if there are any secret tunnels in Duskendale to smuggle people or goods out or in, if that's necessary. Thieves will take advantage of the siege and start stealing food. If we can take them out and help the small folk, we would not only gain many thanks but also information, as we could sell the food for information. We might not be good guys, but we have class. No need to starve the innocents. I finish. Let's do that. Now we only have to wait. I can't fathom what Lord Darkland thought it would get him if he just took the king hostage. Sure, he has a powerful bargaining chip, but that's it. With Tywin Lannister as hand of the king and currently calling the shots, the king is most likely to die and all of the people in Duskendale who are even remotely related to this incident. Too bad. They should have left when they had the chance. 33 comments 0 vote. Sailing trip I. 277 AC. Stannis Pav. When are you coming back? I ask Robert as he is packing everything he will need for the journey. Roughly 6 moons. Maybe more if I manage to strike a favorable deal in Bravos. I'll find myself a skilled shipwright, who would fit into the family and then give him or her the plans I made. He says and I nod. What about Dorne? How long will you stay there? I ask him suspiciously. A few days. Maybe a sennight if necessary. But from what we learned, the Merchant Guild is ready to receive us and I'll use that to go through with the little plan I made. He says with a satisfied smile like it already worked. Sigh. Over the last few moons, the defiance of Duskendale as it was now widely known had been going on and the king has still not been freed or killed officially. Robert and I used this chance to further our plans and the influence of the guilds as it would be the best moment to move, now that the king was not around and the attention of everyone was on something else. The Peaky Blinders were also increasing their influence in King's Landing and it seems to be going well. That is until Robert started planning to increase the Merchant Guild's influence and our military might on the sea. I am used to such projects, as he calls them, but now I am starting to get a bit worried. Not because of his ambition or plan, they always seemed outrageous, but because his personal life worries me. He has been corresponding with his friend Ned Stark up north in Winterfell and Jon Arryn in the Eyrie, which isn't worrying. But he has also corresponded with Elia Martell and the younger Cersei Lannister has also been writing to him. I am worried because it looks like Robert seems to entertain the idea of entering a relationship with the Dornish. He also likes the younger one Cersei, but he's not into young ones like that. His plan, to see whether a relationship with Elia Martell works now, is why he goes to Sunspear and looks after the Merchant Guild there. His plan is to find out whether she is truly different from her family or whether she is playing and just interested in Robert for personal or family gain. I believe she is a nice woman to have as a friend, but not a wife. I don't believe that she is a virgin, and while Robert doesn't seem to care all that much, as long as she doesn't have children, I think it stands to reason that the culture of the Dornish is not marriage material. She will see their marriage as the same as they do in Dorne and take lovers or have intercourse when she feels like it. No matter how much I like Elia, that can't and will never happen. A polygamous relationship will never happen in the Stormlands. You look worried, Stannis. Don't worry. Trust my judgment at least. I won't do anything unless I am absolutely sure it won't hurt our family or our house. I am not someone who chooses a bride because she has a pretty face. That's why I am doing this in the first place. To find out her true character when she isn't in her family's safety. I know, I understand your plan well. It just feels like you might lose sight of the objective and fall for her Dornish charms and appeal. Many men thought they could resist temptation. And you're not a sword swallower, so there is always a chance. I tell him. I know that he will be able to resist, but he has never had sex, as far as I'm aware. He is a powerful young man and with his physique, he is bound to have his cravings. I wouldn't fault him for betting the Dornish beauty. But the problems that would come from that, are not worth the short relief. Bahahaha. Don't worry. If I want relief, there are many beauties much closer here in Storm's End that would surely be willing. That's true. Very well. I'll see you in a few moons with good news, Stannis. We'll get that contract one way or another. Robert says to me. I believe you. You always do. Goodbye, brother. Robert says and then boards the ship. He is going to Dornay now and I won't see him for a long time. At some time, I also want to leave Storm's End. It is getting rather obvious that I am usually the one who has to keep things under control while he sails off somewhere. But he told me that we'll do just that soon. Robert Baratheon Pav. As I start my rather short journey to Sunspear, I think about what has happened and what I have planned. I have been sending and receiving ravens from Ned, Elia Martell and Cersei Lannister after I was kicked out of Winterfell. I understand why it happened and I can't fault Rickard Stark for it. I didn't mince my words as he needed to hear that. The Mormonts also let their women fight, so why can't they? There is no reason for Lyanna not to learn how to fight. Even if she will have to marry eventually, knowing how to fight will only benefit her. The letters of Elia have gotten rather frequent and the ones from Cersei did as well. I understand that the young Lannister seems to have become smitten with me for some reason. I am smart enough to see the signs and read her mood. Tywin Lannister will never allow that, which is why I have put Cersei out of my mind. Sure, she is too young now, but that won't always be the case. She is 1 in 10 name days old now, which means that about 2 years, she would be ready for marriage. Not that I am very comfortable marrying such a young girl, but my mentality has changed since I reincarnated here. I am still uncomfortable but I would accept it nonetheless. However, the obsession of Tywin Lannister with his daughter becoming queen stops anything from happening. Elia Martell though. Well, she is another matter entirely. I could see me getting intimate and marrying her, if what I think about her and what I have observed so far, is the truth. To find out whether she is truly the way I think, I created this plan. I thought that to find out for real, I had to isolate her from her family. How would I do that? Psychology. I combined this trip with my trip to Braavos, where I am planning to acquire another business venture. Shipbuilding. Ships are an essential part of this world. If you have ships, you are a wealthy person, no matter how you use those ships. The Iron Bank of Braavos is a wealthy and powerful institution, that I would like to first get a feeling for and then either take over entirely or become a major shareholder. Money ruled the world. And those who ruled the Iron Bank ruled those who ruled the world. Confusing. Getting a piece of the Iron Bank would give me access to loads of money and business ventures. I would ensure House Baratheon would live comfortably in the coming years. I finally reach Sunspear after sailing for a while. It is an impressive city and the port is lovely as well. I can see why the Martells hold such power over Dornay. I disembark the ship after giving the workers some orders and then begin walking towards the merchant district. We have gotten news from the Merchant Guild in Sunspear about their successful integration of the city and the start of their businesses. All the leaders and vice leaders of any new Merchant Guild branch have to go through the ritual and drink my blood. This assures that the rest of their workers are in line, as only the leader and vice leader know all the details of the operation and only those of their respective regions. The only ones who know all that is going on are Stannis and me. This is not a democracy. I am the ruler of this merchant empire. I walk through the city and finally reach the house where the guild is located. I walk in and see the leader of the guild. He recognizes me instantly. "Ah, my lord. How nice of you to come and visit us," he says. "Don't worry, Quent. I said I'd have a look and that's what I'm doing. How is everything going?" I ask and we go back into his study where he has most of the important papers. It is going rather well. The people know about our reputation and are currently seeing whether that reputation is just a ruse or whether it is real. And so far, no one was disappointed. Good. Then let us go over the few things I wanted to talk to you about. I say and then we get busy for a few hours discussing some things he will have to expect when working here in Sunspear, the heart of the Martell house. After a while, a soldier enters the building and asks for me specifically. I smile when hearing about it and walk to the front where he is waiting. "Yes. How may I help you?" "Lord Robert Baratheon." He asks me, trying to act like he doesn't know me. A poor tactic in his case, because I know he recognized me the moment I stepped out here. "No, I'm his younger sister, Bertha. Can I tell him you were here?" I say. He looks at me with a strange look. He looks me up and down, trying to see whether I am a woman or not. Bah, he has no idea that no amount of logic can win against this stupid topic. "You're clearly a man," he says with a raised eyebrow. "What? Are you saying we women aren't allowed to look however we want?" "I feel like a woman, so I am a woman. No matter how long and girthy my penis is will change that. You are violating my right as an individual and I won't stand it." Please leave this establishment and tell whoever sent you, that we won't be doing business with them. I say and turn around and walk away. He still stands there with his mouth open, not sure what just happened. After trying to figure out what to do, he asks to see me again, but I refuse. Why would I play the Myrtle's game? If they want to talk to me, they had better come themselves. I knew the soldier was from the Martell house, but he never said that. He never got the chance to. But that's not my problem. As expected, after roughly an hour, another person entered the house. Elia Martell had arrived with her brother, a Baron Martell. I smile when I approach them and greet them. Ah, such distinguished guests. Welcome Elia and a Baron Martell. I say to them. Robert, it's good to finally see you again after all this time. We wanted to ask for you to dine with us earlier, but one of our guards said some strange things, which were clearly lies. Elia says, turning to the man in question. No need. I made a small joke with him and had fun. Now, what brings you to our lovely guild house? I ask them. As I said, we wanted to invite you to dinner with us. Now that you're finally in Sunspear, don't think about leaving again anytime soon. Elia says with a stern expression. Bahaha, I wouldn't dare think of it. But I'm afraid, I won't stay in Dornay for long. I leave tomorrow morning for Bravos. I say. What? No way. You will stay a while. Elia says and I can only smile. So you are the famed Robert Baratheon, the entire realm and Elia are talking about all the time. If the rumors are to be believed, you might as well be a god. I thought you were taller, from the stories. A baron speaks for the first time and walks closer to me. Don't believe those rumors. They are all lies, I assure you. I am but a good-looking heir to Storm's End, nothing more. I say with a casual smile. Ha, is that so? You don't carry yourself like a normal heir. You look like a skilled fighter. And your body seems bloated. These are all transverse spermatic cords. Bahahahahahaha. I suddenly start to laugh at their confused and surprised faces. It is so easy to surprise people in these times. Finally, we will see more of the world than just Westeros. Important chapter the next one. As we approach the tourney at Harrenhal 281 and the Rebellion 282-283, things will change. I have thought of how to anger Robert and had writer's block. I was actually very close to going on hiatus. Ironically, I found the solution and understood that I was actually looking too far. Sailing Trip 2. 277 AC. A Baron Martell Pav. Robert Baratheon, the man my sister has an eye on. It seems to be worse than I expected because when I teased her about it, she didn't even react. She just let things be. I have to agree though, he is an impressive specimen. Those wide shoulders, powerful arms and legs and that air of nonchalance when he is in the face of nobles is stimulating. He carries himself with confidence and seems like a happy and amusing man. On the surface. I have always been the chaotic child in the Martell family. I was allowed to do what I wanted mostly because I was a Martell and the youngest child. Mother finds it funny to see what I would do next, but there are things that I can do and already did, that are too far for her tastes. Like the Euronwood case. I shouldn't have done that, but I just thought she was a good lay and then did it. But this one, Robert Baratheon, despite being a Stormlander and a Baratheon to boot, is a dangerous specimen. I can feel it. A viper like me, recognizes another predator when it sees one. And he is nothing less than a dangerous beast. I can tell that he is hiding a dark and ruthless nature that can come to the surface whenever he chooses to. Naturally, I tried to get him to bring it out. But he either doesn't react or laughs about my insults and teasing. Elia sends me poisonous blades with her eyes, warning me to stop what I am doing, but that only makes me want to try more. I am crazy like that. What else is there, than to enjoy myself and life in general? I am also getting more and more interested in seeing him in my bed tonight. He said that he would leave tomorrow, but not if I get any say in the matter and especially not if Elia gets a say in the matter, and she always does. So what is the secret to your success, Robert? What training do you do? Do those muscles help you in bed? How many women and or men have you bedded yet? I ask, trying to make him uncomfortable and also because I'm genuinely interested. My secrets. Well, doesn't everyone have secrets? He says, not answering the last questions. And what are those? My own. Come now. There has to be something wrong with you. I say. A baron. Mother warns me this time. But I don't react to it. What? Don't tell me you aren't curious as well. From the outside, he appears to be the perfect specimen. Tall for his age, strong, a skilled and intelligent businessman, and charming to the degree of capturing Elia. There has to be some terrible secret that makes you human, no? I ask him, leaning forward. You wouldn't expect me to talk about my faults in front of such esteemed ladies, would you? Robert says. I would actually. Are you insecure about your faults? I ask him. Isn't everyone? He asks with a smile. Are you a coward? I ask him suddenly. A baron. That is quite enough. Mother says with the gaze she usually uses when I mess up. But Elia is the one looking at me in anger. I know her look. Despite her smiling physically, she is fuming inside. Bahaha, you're funny. I believe you haven't yet managed to find someone who didn't react to your jests and insults, making you try and push me more and more. Unfortunately for you, I seldom get angry. Robert tells me. No. Then what do you feel? Pity. Pity. Haha, for whom? For everyone standing against me. As he says those words, the air around him changes. Gone is the good-natured young man. The situation becomes tense and heavy, surprising me and making my response come out too late. Ha ha ha, bold words, Robert Baratheon. I like that. So how about a spar then? We could see whether your words aren't just hot air. What do you say? I ask him with a maniacal grin on my face. A baron. Stop trying to get a fight with Robert and just accept that he won't react to your teasing. It is getting annoying and sad at this point. Elia says. I only look at Robert though. I refuse. What? Why? Are you scared? No. Then what is it? I already told you, I feel pity for you. We wouldn't want that. Robert says and stands up from the table we were eating at. Princesses and prince, I must deeply apologize, but it is time for me to retire for the night. I am sailing to the free city of Bravos tomorrow and will need all the rest I can get. So if you excuse me. Robert says and nods his head towards Mother and Elia. Certainly, Robert. But we can hardly allow you to go just like that. You are in Dornay and here we don't go to be alone. Mother says with a sultry smile. This makes Andros jealous as far as I can see. Oh, this might be the chance I was hoping for, to get him out of his reserve. What are you saying, Mother? Are you interested in visiting the heir of House Baratheon in his chamber? How naughty of you. What would Andros say? I remark with a grin. Mother narrows her eyes at me, while Andros looks like he is about to explode. He can barely hold on. He has been holding it in for the entirety of dinner. Only a slight push. I think that's enough of that. If you would excuse me. Robert says and then starts to leave. Elia, would you be so kind as to accompany our guest to his room? Mother says, ending my fun prematurely. Yes, Mother. Elia says and leads Robert away from the dining room. After they're gone, Mother looks at me and doesn't say anything for a while. She is just studying me and thinking about something. You know, OB, I always allowed you to do what you wanted and enjoyed your wild and untamed side. But with this, you are making a mistake. Remember what I told you, silent waters run deep. This has nothing to do with your enjoyment and games. Robert Baratheon won't play your games, but he will get you to play his. He is the perfect man for Elia and I will do almost anything to see her happy. What? Is it really at that stage already? What about Prince Rhaegar then? Elia would be queen. I say. Foolish boy, there are many things better than becoming queen. In fact, there is little good about the position. You are still a woman in the end and besides good food and clothes, you will have to endure just as hard as any other woman in this world. Then what makes Robert Baratheon an interesting match for Elia? She is to have the best in this world. I tell her. She smiles. Of course, my sweet. But Robert Baratheon is unlike any man in this world. He really manages to show the people around him something like respect. Elia would have a happy life with him, I am certain. And if his self-control is anything to go by. I can only imagine the fun she will have at night. Mother says and smiles. Respect. Honor like the Starks or Aarons is a weakness. And what do you mean by self-control? He doesn't seem like much to me, despite having such a strong body. You're lying. I know you see it as well. He has a clear interest in his eyes when he looks at Elia, but he is more than ready for violence and knows he will win. A man doesn't just create something like the guilds and stay successful if he doesn't know how to use his head and be ruthless. The fact that he doesn't fall for your provocations and insults proves it all the more. Don't cross Robert, OB. For Elia's sake. Elia Martel Pav. I walk with Robert at my side to the room which mother chose for him. It is a luxurious room, which he will find to his liking. I don't say anything while we walk and neither does he. I get more and more frustrated as we walk. I look at him and see that he has a comfortable smile on his face. What are you smiling about? I ask in annoyance. Nothing, just thinking. About what? How you will just leave the day after you arrive. I thought you would at least stay longer to see me. I huff. Well, there are always other ways for us to spend time together. Another place, another time. I'm not trying to keep you away, I just have to do this. He says. Like I would believe that. It has been a long time since we met and you promised we would meet. I am getting annoyed. I never had to be the one to approach a man in my life like this. I feel like I'm losing my touch or allure. I tell him. Is that so? Well, I have my priorities straight. Since I'm 5 and 10, I still have time to marry. Oh. And what about me then? I blurt out without realizing what I was saying. What? I mean, I am older than you and have been in marrying age for a while now. So. You don't have to marry as soon as you bleed for the first time. I don't know why that has to happen. Seems stupid to me. He says. What is it with you? Huh? What do you mean? I am clearly giving you signs here but you don't notice them. Forget it. Good night, Lord Baratheon. I say and walk away. The next day. This was a stupid idea. Sneaking aboard Robert's ship was a stupid idea. What was I thinking? Sigh. I wasn't really thinking probably. The idea that I had to put in effort to get a man's attention was both terribly disappointing and also refreshing. Finally, someone that doesn't just want to FCK me and then leave. Robert clearly looks at me with interest but never in the same way most other men do. He has been interesting since I first met him. But now, I feel like I might have doomed myself. If this doesn't work, I am going to have a very bad time. Who else could ever be equal to Robert? Before I didn't know, but now. Now I do know and what I know will make every man pale in comparison. A baron helped me sneak on the ship. We bribed a worker not to say anything and even threatened him with the Martel name, should he go back on his word. He had a strange smile when we told him that. I can only hope it's not what I think it was. Knock knock knock. I hear 3 knocks on the door of the room I'm hiding in. I thought it was smart to hide in the storage room, behind some crates, but this is getting rather annoying and painful to do. Knock knock knock. Princess. I hear a voice say behind the door and freeze. Princess Elia. Are you in there? The voice asks again. How? What do I do? Lord Robert has asked to relieve you of your uncomfortable situation and bring you to him. What? Does he know I am on board? But how? The man we bribed. So it was true. He went back on his word. Princess. Can you hear me? If you wish to have some food, I was tasked with bringing you some if that's your wish, but if you. Bang. I push open the door and stop him from talking. Bring me to Robert. This way, princess. The man says with a smile. Now I recognize him as the man we bribed yesterday. This makes me angry. So you ratted us out, despite the warning we gave you. Do you not fear House Martel? I ask him but he only laughs. Haha, forgive me, princess. But Lord Robert knew that you would try and sneak on board and gave us the instructions to let it happen. The money you gave me was unnecessary but appreciated nonetheless. What? We're here. My lord, Princess Elia is here as you asked. The man says and then leaves again. Thank you, Frank. So. How was the night? Robert asks me with a smirk on his face. You knew I was coming and still left me hiding in the storage room. You fiend. I shout and stomp on the ground. Ha ha ha, I knew you were coming, but not that you would hide in the storage room. Your humility really sets you apart. If it was any other noble lady they would have naturally ordered to be brought to a room or even my room, due to their arrogance. And yet you didn't, which I find very funny and refreshing. But please sit down and eat. I imagine you are famished after the long night. How did you know I would come aboard? I ask him. What, do you think I am really that dense to not recognize when you are clearly giving me signs? I knew it wouldn't sit right with you, and coupled with the way I ignored a baron the entire night, he was bound to want to get back at me, which would result in him helping you. Not really a grand plan but still an effective one. He says. You manipulated me. Another place, another time, I have my priorities straight, and acting all clueless. You planned this to happen from the start. But why? To get you away from your family. I thought it would be fun to spend some time together alone while making it seem like it was your idea. I can't have my good reputation ruined, after all, I'm a gentleman. Like hell you are. Bahahaha.